Greetings, hola, and konnichiwa, here with another update, the final update, for the Global Game Jam 2019. This is, end of day 3, finally home, and, about to get some much-needed sleep. But, it was a little bit of a, tiring experience, but it is fun and rewarding, and, it's a little bit of an endurance thing, but, you can take it, and it's, And we're back. Okay, so the this year at the location at RVCC, we had a little bit of a smaller group. They were kind of just getting back after being off for kind of a year or two, so there was a little more for people in the know of this one. It was a little more of a secret invitation in a way, but we still had a little over 20 people show up at the location. Normally they had 50 to 70, sometimes more in the past, but and I think next year they're going to be expanding back outward again, closer to 100 or so. But with changes around the campus, they wanted to scale it back a little bit this year, just for logistical purposes. It was a nice little small group. I ended up doing a solo project this year, but I was checking out a lot of the other projects that some people were doing solo, some were doing as groups, and people sharing resources all around. We had a good number of completed games actually this year. Unfortunately, mine wasn't one of them, but I got very, very close. Actually, being the designer, programmer, artist, and overall like everything else, and just like being able to only outsource the music and sound effects, which I'm very grateful for because it really did help bring what the project had together. But I was able to. Being very rusty on a lot of programming and such, I was able to overcome a lot of or get up to speed, I should say, and overcome some of the challenges that I was anticipating. The harder parts of what I thought was going to be part of my design, I actually managed to pull off pretty well. And even the logic behind the parts that did not work was pretty sound. It was just more a matter of just getting the right types of data into the right variables, and then the whole thing would have come together. But unfortunately, what I thought would have been easy, the playable character, or the player controls for the character, rather, ended up being the biggest challenge because as a result of those unforeseen issues. Even though I had done projects in the past with movement that was very similar to what I was trying to achieve in some ways, this one just had a little more in the way of restrictions for the character movement, and that ended up the precision required there, and the amount of data and different items that were altering their state constantly, which was successfully, I might add, that ended up being a little bit more challenging. But the good news is that the game really is very close to being something playable. So I'm going to be still trying to chip away at the project, and over the next week or so in my spare time, and hopefully I'll be able to get that thing up and running to a point where I can share it with everyone. You can still find out on the Global Game Jam. You can still find out and look at what is there. There's nothing really as far as executables or a runnable thing go. It would just be the actual project that you could pull into Unity if you wanted to. But it's called Acquisition Avenue, with this year's theme being like home is what home means to you. I chose to avoid some of the seemingly more obvious associations one can make with that sort of phrase, like the home is where the heart is and that sort of stuff. Although some people did some very creative twists on even those concepts, so it was avenues like that are great ways to explore some creative concepts and executions, and they got some pretty polished results as a result of that. Mine, I just chose to focus on the word means in the phrase. I figured that'd be a less common element being focused on by the jammers. And so I was taking means in the ways of course or avenue or what corridor or what have you, and as well as resources or wealth. And so you'll see eventually in the finished piece how those elements come together as well as a home theme, and I think it's going to make for a pretty interesting game once I can share it with everyone there. So it was fun little time, and pizza, food, and some good times. And uh, it was just great to be able to work on a project, just kind of like focus on it and have support from people, even if they're on your team. You can kind of poke in and out and work things out that way. So yeah, I think they were saying it was somewhere around like, what was it, like 60,000, 80,000, something like that. People around the world were participating this year. Over like 113, 100, around 113 countries, I think they said. So, or yeah, I think it's countries, not just locations. But anyways, yeah, it's truly global, and very cool to kind of participate in. I always look forward to that. So, yeah, so that'll be the last entry on this for this year's event. But I will definitely post any updates on the actual project as I hopefully get it to a little more of a polished or functional state. So, all right, that's it. Take care.